What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 236 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. Today's episode, number 236 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast, is entitled Sick and Tired of Being Sick and Tired. So let's start out by saying, who coined this phrase? Where did it come from? So actually, the phrase sick and tired of being sick and tired was first said by Fannie Lou Hamer at a 1964 rally where she was a civil rights, a voting rights, and a women's rights activist in the United States. And she was just saying she was sick and tired of the way things were and that the way politics were in the U.S., especially in regarding to racial situations. But what does I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired mean in general? Well, it means you're just totally weary and bored. You're sort of reached the point of exasperation. And your weariness has reached the point of maybe where you're actually physically ill or near death from what you're going through. Or it could be you've just had enough of whatever you're going through and you've made a decision on whatever you're going through just has to end. And I hear this a lot. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired from guys when they're getting ready to leave addiction and go to a rehab or go for treatment or go for a detox. And quite frankly, over the years, I've often just said to the guys, well, you need a better reason than that because, at some point you're not going to be sick and tired anymore if you're in a good program and you're starting to get better. So what happens then when your reason for going goes away? So let's look at that situation and see what we can come up with. What does this sick and tired of being sick and tired really mean as we're deciding to choose recovery rather than staying in addiction? Well, for some guys, if I talk about one thought, it would be they're really just saying, I need a break. I can't keep doing this. And they're not really sure they're going to stop for good, but they just are admitting, I can't do this right now. But a British photographer and actress, Amanda de Cadenet, said, and I quote, "Only when we are sick and tired of being sick and tired do any of us do something different." So is that your first reason what you can do because you're sick and tired? First reason to make some change? Like you're just saying, I want to do something different. So I'm going to get up and leave where I'm at and go a different place and do some different things, like getting clean and sober. Well, a second way to look at it is what happens when you do start rehab or recovery and you begin to feel better, like I had said at the beginning of this episode. Well, I like Zig Ziglar's quote when he says, "People often say motivation doesn't last. Neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily." So that one just makes me smile. And if you think about it, it's almost saying in this context, you need to remember the time you were sick and tired, even when you start feeling better. You need to be reminding yourself what it's like if you go back and start picking up and start using again and use that as motivation. And I like the way he says, the motivation we need to remind ourselves of every day, just like bathing or taking a shower. Okay, a third aspect to look at in this is, did you just want to feel better or do you want restoration and transformation? So really looking at your motivation here. Did you just want a place to feel better for a season? Are you looking at, maybe just saying, I'm clean, I'm sober? Or do you really want restoration of your dreams, your hopes, the plans for your life, and transformation of yourself from the inside out. And for this, I'd like to use a quote by Sidney Modwed, an American poet and author, who said, "The world will change for the better when people decide they are sick and tired of being sick and tired of the way the world is, and decide to change themselves." So you got that? When you say, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired," in your addiction, are you making a decision to change yourself? Not just change your behavior, change yourself. And that's that sort of inside out transformation that I'm talking about. A fourth aspect to look at is, what's the new you that you want to be? You know, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, so what's the new you that you want to be? And I'd like to use a quote by George Sheehan, American physician, who said, "We may think there is willpower involved, but more likely change is due to want power. Wanting the new addiction more than the old one. Wanting the new me in preference to the person I am now." So when I say, what's the new you that you want to be, do you have the want power to say that I want this new me more than the me that I am now? And that's the strong enough motivation to change from the inside out. And if I could add to that, could you say, and oh, by the way, I don't want to become that person that I was in my addiction again. Can you hold on to that thought from the sick and tired aspect of saying, I don't want to go back to be that person ever again. I do want the new me, and I want it desperately. Okay, the fifth aspect in this topic is realize that your choice was actually life or death. So you may have used the phrase sick and tired about being sick and tired. But from the definition, it said, it could get you to the point of physical illness and death, which addiction can get us to. So can you look at your choice as being one of saying, well, actually, I'm choosing life over death? And I'd like to use a quote by Elton John, the British musician, when he talked about his situation with his addiction. He said, I realized that I only had two choices. I was either going to die or I was going to live. And which one did I want to do? And then I said those words, I'll get help, or I need help. I'll get help. And my life turned around. Ridiculous for human beings to take 16 years to say, I need help. Is that you? Are you someone who reached that point when you said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, to realize that it's either life or death for me, and I need help, and I want help, and I choose to get the help because it's ridiculous for me to stay in my addiction any longer. I've been in it for decades now, and I need help. Okay, the sixth aspect I'd like to look at is, how do we hold on to the strength once we start this journey of recovery? And for a lot of guys, they find their faith in the midst of their recovery, and in their faith, they find their strength. And to point this out, I'd like to use a quote by William Hurt, the American actor. And he said, it's been a long comeback. Things were pretty dark for me, but I have faith now, and it saves my day. I was angry with God for a long time because I was unhappy with me. I hadn't learned to make the distinction between God and my parents. But there's a peace now. In the end, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So can that be you? Can you be the person who says, I remember when I couldn't see the difference between God and my parents, and I blamed them both for the wounds that caused my addiction and God not helping me to avoid addiction. But have you found faith to come out of the dark places and let your faith save your day so that you're not stuck being sick and tired of being sick and tired? Okay, finally for the seventh one. Are you ready to get to that point where you actually do choose your life and not just choose to be sick and tired of being sick and tired? And this reminds me of the lyrics to the song The Door by Teddy Swims. I'm just going to use parts of them, snippets of them, and then the chorus. He said, "You sold me lies just by the way you look, taught me a language that I never speak." Can you relate to that in addiction, where we bought into some lies and learned a language that we didn't know before we got in there? Another phrase from the song is, "I dug my grave watching the way you move. You took me higher than I ever flew." Have you felt that in your addiction, where you were flying high but really digging your grave at the same time? Another phrase from the song says, "No more thinking about you late night. No more running around with your friends now. Done picking up the pieces of my soul up off the floor." Can you see the brokenness that you had running around, and you've got to the point where you've just been picking your soul up off the floor and you're done with that? And can you sing as Teddy Swims sings in the chorus, but as he's singing to a love, so to speak, and calling her baby, can you plug in your drug of choice there? And the chorus is, "I said I would die for you, baby, but I can't take this pain no more. I thought I was willing, but tonight I saved my life when I showed you the door." Are you ready to save your life? Not just be sick and tired of being sick and tired, but choose life, choose transformation, choose restoration. Find your motivation every day, just like taking a shower, and just show your addiction the door, because you're tired of picking up your pieces off the floor. Okay. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you were saying that's me, then reach out, join a group, talk to somebody. If you'd like to message me, you can do it by email at davidfroma2d@gmail.com. Go to my website, www.froma2d.org, and click on the contact page. Or you can click right on the message link on whatever platform you're listening to this. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay resilient.